Hi, I'm Nick, and I am an ink and watercolor artist. I've been using watercolors for about 2 years now, and in my journey, I've self-taught myself how to use them through trial and error. Unfortunately, it's been a hard road for me. This is one of my first artworks that I did with watercolor paints, and this is one of my latest here. So I have improved, and now I have some tips that I'd like to share with you on how to watercolor like a boss. But before we get into the tutorial, I'll just give you 2 tips that will help you on your way to achieve how to watercolor like a boss. Let's get into them. Number 1, what paper do I use? The most important part of watercolor blending is what paper you use. You need a very thick paper for watercolors to work properly. I use a special 225 GSM paper from the art store. If you use paper that isn't meant for watercolors, it won't work. Here's what watercolors look like on printer paper compared to watercolor paper. Go to your local art store and buy a proper watercolor pad. I see a lot of people quit watercolors because they use the wrong paper. It's sort of like shooting yourself in the foot if you don't use the proper paper from the get-go. Number 2, what watercolor paints do I use? Let's quickly talk about watercolor paints. You don't need expensive paints to blend with. My kit cost me $5. You can get watercolor blocks or pastes. It's all watercolor and it will all work. Now that those points are out of the way, let's start the tutorial. You'll need some watercolor paper, watercolor paint, a glass of water, a spoon, and a palette. Use a plate if you don't have one yet. I'm going to show you how to mix up 2 compatible colors, light green and dark green. Let's make the light green first. If you're using watercolor blocks, use a teaspoon to drop some water onto your palette. Then dip your brush into water and then into the paint block and back into the palette water. Repeat until the water looks like the color that you want. We want to make this a little lighter, so let's add in some white color by using the same method. Let's mix up the dark green now. We will use a tube of watercolor for this one. Use a teaspoon to put some water into a separate palette shape. Unscrew the watercolor tube and squeeze a small amount of the paint into the water. Then grab your brush and mix it into the water until you can't see any lumps. Let's make it a little darker by adding in a tiny bit of black. There's 2 methods of blending watercolors. Let's start with the first one. On your paper, use your brush to spread out some clear water into a square. Then dip your brush into the light green and add it to the spread out water very quickly before it dries. Then add in the dark green. The colors will diffuse and blend together. Play around with the amount of color that you add in and also play around with the time in which you add the color. The water will dry from the page, and depending on how much color you add, you can create lighter or darker tones. The second method is what I use for my artworks. I basically don't limit myself to any technique at all. I spread on one color and then I add the next by spreading it out over the page. To fix up or add in more colors, I simply dip my brush in to another color and diffuse it in. This method is great for making small adjustments, especially when multiple colors are used. Experiment with these 2 methods and see which one you like the most. Watercoloring is best learned through trial and error and a lot of experimentation. It's supposed to be fun, wild, and crazy. Along the way, you'll develop your own style, your own tips, and your own ways of watercoloring. I could teach you exactly how to do everything on watercoloring, but in my opinion, I shouldn't, because then you won't come up with your own ideas and you won't come up with your own methods of doing stuff. If I taught you exactly how I did it, then everyone would be painting exactly like me and there would be no unique and really cool art styles being made. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it helped you a little bit. And yeah, don't be afraid to experiment with the watercolors. I make time-lapse drawing videos every week, so check out my videos and subscribe to me if you want to see how I paint things like this, and this, as well as talk about a lot of random stuff that literally does not make any sense. It's 2016. Who the hell wears underpants on the outside anymore? If it was the 80s, I totally get it. Bye for now, but not forever. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and like me on Facebook, or click to see a random video below. I'll catch you down the road.